What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show. We have been falling today in prices on cryptocurrency, and there's a couple things that are probably adding on to why we're going down. But one of the biggest reasons, and the thing that's causing a lot of people on the internet to be freaking out, is news coming out about Coinbase. What is going on with Coinbase, and can you trust them as an exchange? We're going to be diving into that question and giving you everything you need to know about the situation to know, is this actually something you need to be worrying about, or is it just a level of FUD coming to try to discourage you from buying the dip before the bull run takes off? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. So if you are excited about today's show, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, hit the follow button over there on X. And first, we've got to roll the intro. There we go. T-Shroom, how you doing today, my friend?
Oh, Tim, I thought you'd never ask. I'm doing better than I deserve. I really am. I'm very hydrated. Got a nice extra long run in. Ran like twice as far as I usually run. Yeah. So I'm feeling good. How are you today, Tim?
So you ran to the neighbor's mailbox this time.
Oh boy.
There we go.
That's a little tubby T-Shroom joke there.
Actually, I'm not even kidding. You probably run 10 times farther than me. Last time I tried to run a whole mile, I surprised myself at how terrible I am at running. I'm a big guy. I'm about the weights. I got the weights crushed today. Hit some good numbers. It was bench day. Everyone in chat, if you guys had a workout today or you're going to work out tonight, let us know, what day is it for you today? Is it a cardio day? Is it a lifting day? What are you guys hitting in the gym? Yeah, crypto didn't pump today. That doesn't mean you can't. Make sure to go take care of your body. Go get that pump in. Glad to hear, though, T-Shroom, you're hitting new mile markers with your mileage on your runs.
Yeah, crypto didn't pump today, but you still can. That's a Tim Warren original right there, folks. Mint it.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know, and again, I'm not kidding. When we start putting out T-shirts, which we're not doing T-shirts at the moment, but when we do T-shirts, one of the T-shirts has to be "Real Men Train Leg Day."
Yes.
It's probably not an original quote, but we're still going to put it on a T-shirt.
Jack Davis said
symbol on there.
Chest and tris. Is it tris or triceps? What is tris?
Tries. Chest and tries.
Okay.
That's I hit I effectively did chest and tries. It's what I call upper body push day. So threw in some shoulders as well, but the majority of upper body push is chest and triceps. So gotcha. It's good stuff. We didn't come in here to hear about the workout routine, though, T-Shirt. We came in here to talk crypto. Let's go over to my screen that I did not share with you. So, that's on me. Give me a second. It's shared now. You can go ahead and go to it. What a colossal mistake to start the show. All right, guys. Sea of red, just like this morning. Not any positivity on the charts. I think if you really look closely, Monero, I believe, is slightly up. On the day, not a lot, just slightly. The others I've seen here in green look to be stable coins. So everybody in the top 100, save for Monero, not looking good. That is okay, though. You know what? You got to have dips. You can't buy the dip unless there is a dip. So I encourage you to get that frown and turn it upside down. There's opportunities to buy on this dip. The question is, will we have better opportunities tomorrow, or is this the best one you're going to get? Let's go ahead and dive into the charts and take a look at what is happening over here. We mentioned it this morning. We had been looking for a move up into the smart trail back to this level. Well, I actually do this earlier today, this red line, but we were looking for a move up to the smart trail around $61,000. Didn't get it, right? We did not quite get there. We made it to about 60,700 here over the weekend back on Friday. But then the last 3 days have all brought us back down to the downside. How far are we pulling back? Some things I'm keeping an eye on. One of the reasons why we were bullish and we were looking for moves to the upside, before I turn on Luxalgo, we were tracking what is called an inverse head and shoulders pattern. We had a left shoulder back here early in September. We had a nice head pattern in the the middle of September. And then, here more recently, I guess we're still in the middle of September, but early, kind of early, mid-September, we had the right shoulder, right? So we had a perfect formation. This was calling for a breakout potentially. I will always go conservatively, so that's why I said 61,000. But this could send price, and it's not over necessarily. This could send the price up towards $64,000 if it plays out to its full fruition. Right now, what you've noticed, you guys see this blue line on my chart? That is what we call the neckline of the inverse head and shoulders pattern. It's a little slanted, and we've ultimately come back down and retested that slant line as support. Does that mean that the bottom is actually in for Bitcoin? Well, if we take a look at their liquidations maps, you will see on the 3-day chart. This is a new website, by the way. Sometimes I use CoinGlass, but shout out to Silent, one of our trading members in our VIP trading group who is a star trader. It's not just me who's putting some amazing trades over that group. There's so many people, but Silent is one of the best out there. Make sure you guys are joining for him. I think I'm blocking a little bit, so I got to scroll up here a little bit so you guys can see. We took out a lot of liquidity with these morning's big moves down here below 57,500. You can see a whole lot of leverage liquidations were taken out this morning. What does that mean in plain English? Ultimately, there were a lot of people in long positions. They were buying the market, but they put on their exchanges, if the price makes it to 57,500, or some of them said 57,700, we want to get out of this trade. Well, guess what? Exchange information is technically public information, and experienced traders know that, and they watch charts just like this to say, where can I manipulate markets to confuse people so that I can make money and the average retail investor ends up losing out? Well, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, it was down here to about 57,500. Now we take a look to the upside. I'm not saying with 100% certainty that this is going to happen, but the next level on this chart, on the 3-daily chart that's saying we have liquidity, is the short positions all the way back up here towards $61,000. Now, I do apologize. I said I love this better, and I said I used to use CoinGlass. Some of you are asking, what is this website that I'm using? It's called CoinAnk.com. CoinAnk.com. If I were to scroll out here, I'm a little zoomed in because I wanted to make sure it fit the frame. But CoinAnk right here is on the top left corner. If you want to find where this liquidation heat map is, go to derivatives, scroll down here to liquidation heat map. Boom. I'm going to get rid of this on here so I have more of the heat map on my line. You can change the colors. I think Silent likes this magma, which is the bright red. I just always worked with the green and yellow, so that's where I'm going with. You can take a look at a lot of coins over USDT. You have Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, BNB, Solana, Doge. Do they have, let's say, Caspa? Let's test them out. Oh, they don't have Caspa. So if we want to do Caspa, we probably still have to go to CoinGlass. What about, do they have Ondo? No, they don't have Ondo. All right, so here's a good little tidbit right here. You're going to probably have to use this for mostly the bigger coins. Probably still have to use CoinGlass for some of those smaller projects. But when it comes to Bitcoin, and this helps a lot, I do like this chart. I think the information is a little bit better than what CoinGlass has. And right now, what we are looking at is we had a big move to the downside because of bullish liquidity below us. We've now filled that liquidity, and a lot of signs are pointing back to the upside. Coming back over into the charts, even though we haven't sustained much of a rally just yet, you will notice on these lower time frames that we are picking up a little bit of volume on this bottom position. We talked about volume a lot here, but if you're newer and you don't know how to read volume, a lot of times volume, well, it communicates two things, but the most common thing it communicates is where it's a lot of buying, a lot of selling, so it's more often not matching up with tops or bottom. So in this case, with this excessive volume coming in, it's a good chance this is a local, meaning short-term bottom position. The question is, how high do we bounce before the dip continues, or is this a macro bottom position? Are we still in a bull trend where we're, since back here on September 6th, we're sitting higher highs and higher lows? This is still a higher low. Are we still bullish right now, or do we have to go even lower to the downside? Talked a lot about that this morning. So you want to go back. It's a 25-minute show from this morning. We covered everything there is to know about this week's data from the Fed in depth. I'm going to save you guys some time here. I'm not going to go in depth here. We are not going to talk about the Fed on today's show unless it pops up in question and answer time. Did a very good job of that this morning. But just so you know, those things will have major impact on where the price is going. That being said, T-Shroom, let's take a look at a couple other coins this morning. Wow.
Tim,
Wow.
I have to issue a quick correction. We will very briefly discuss the Fed cuts.
So I'm a liar is what's happening now.
You're not a liar. You were less informed.
I lied about two things now. I lied about the Fed. I lied about it being morning. Can you even trust me anymore? That's the real question. I wouldn't blame anybody if they just tuned off right now and said this guy's just full of it.
Dang.
Don't do that. Man. Don't tune off.
Bros, stick around.
It's all.
We got to see the redemption story of Tim Warren. He's going to earn back the trust of the bros.
All right, let's regroup here. Let's regroup. Kind of wrap up where we're at. Bitcoin is down on the day, but on that daily chart, still very, very bullish. Let's take a look at some other altcoins here as well. Let's look at Ethereum. Let's look at coin numero 2. Taking a lot bigger of a dip than Bitcoin during this big pullback here. Instead of setting higher highs and higher lows, we had kind of been doing that here. You guys can see got a little of a trend going on. We definitely broke that trend. We definitely came in and set a lower low on Ethereum, kind of zooming out and looking at a longer time frame. I can get rid of that red line because it's not very important. We almost decided we wanted to break out of a falling wedge pattern and then rejected in that area right there on that orange line, and we're moving to the downside. Should we expect to see a bounce here? Let's take a look at some indicators. The first thing I want to point out is on the daily chart. We did get that great buy signal the other day. We did not hit the smart trail. And as we mentioned when we talked about this, 9 out of the last 10 times, more often than not, 90% of the time, when you get a buy signal on the Luxago oscillator, you will at least come up to this red level right here called the smart trail. That did not happen this time, but we're not below our buy signal spot. So is it a little too early to say it's failed? I think it is, but we're going to need to see a little bit of a rally kind of pop up here. Let's check out the 4-hour chart and see what it is saying. Some good news on these lower time frames. We've come down to that take profit level from a sell order we had yesterday. We are getting a big green overextended momentum dot with a green reversal dot as well. The only problem is the money flow is still negative here on the 4-hour chart. So we're not seeing a buy signal on the 4-hour, but we are seeing support levels touched on Ethereum. If we were to drop lower, let's take a look and see if there's anything down below us of consequence. Not necessarily. I mean, all these lower time frames, I'm going down to the 1 hour. That's the lowest I'm going to go. It's still showing a lot of reason to look to the upside for the price direction. Let's even take a look over here at liquidations. Let's see what the traders are looking at and what they're thinking about the Ethereum coin at the moment. We're here on the 3-day chart, kind of a mixed bag here. Took out a big level of liquidity back here, but this was a couple of days ago. This was, I think, yesterday. And right now, you kind of see some dwindling. There are levels of liquidity down below us, all the way down to 2,200, but the majority of the bright yellow, and the yellow's really where a lot of the expert traders are focusing on. Those are the bigger levels of liquidation. So they're going to look at those. Those are all coming up above us, and we have some as high as 2,500. So similar to Bitcoin, it's not necessarily saying, oh, we have to move to the upside, but we've taken out a lot of the long liquidity below us. It does look like we're hitting a lot of levels of support, and there's still evidence and reasons to look for a move to the upside. And on the daily chart, that upside should at least be up here towards $2,600. But we'll keep you guys updated on that. Ultimately, as T-Shroom said, we're going to talk a little bit about the Fed. Not everything we talked about this morning, but we're talking about it a little bit. That has a big to do with it, along with this Coinbase news. But we did get a super chat from Amy Lives Crypto. First of all, shout out to Amy and her channel. If you guys are not following Amy Lives Crypto, you're missing out. Go click on her name. Go follow her channel. We got to meet her in Nashville. And let me tell you, you would regret not listening to her information. She's got experience in this field that a lot of us in the influencer games, a lot of us came in here cold. We learned on the fly. She actually has a career path in this field, in the world of finance. She is a very big help. She said, I believe in you, Tim. And she gave me an orange heart. Thank you so much, Amy. I believe in me too. I'm kind of just kidding around. I lied by mistake. I'm not a pathological liar, I don't believe. T-Shroom, do you think I'm a pathological liar?
No comment.
All
No,
right, well, that's what you want to hear. Let's do one more coin here, T-Shirt. I'm gonna let you choose. Last crypto we're gonna look at today. What altcoin do you want to see the charts on before we move into the news and talk about this Coinbase fiasco?
AVAX. Let's take a look at AVAX.
There's a good one. I had a friend text me over the weekend asking my thoughts on AVAX.
You had a
Short
friend,
term,
Tim. Line number 3.
Okay, first of all, what are you talking about?
You had a friend.
Definitely.
It was a friend.
I have a. Are you saying I don't have friends now, T-Shirt? Gosh. All right, we're going to take applications for new co-hosts.
Dang.
He's right into the show. Well, apparently we're not friends because I don't have friends, T-Shirt, I guess.
Let's look at AVAX.
Let's look at AVAX.
Maybe you can you can earn the friendship back.
All right, it's too late for you. AVAX, we're still looking at a longer-term falling wedge pattern. That should see us break out higher towards $37. That being said, that's a long time frame thing, and we're going to need to see bullishness come in from the news to get that to happen. Similar to Ethereum, we got some momentum here on the daily chart. We got a good buy signal back in here on the dip back on September 7th. That should have, at the very least, sent us up here towards $27, $28. Problem is, we got rejected once again, a little bit above, but for the most part, pretty much on that red line of the falling wedge pattern, right? So the question still remains, are we still looking bearish? Are we looking bullish? The daily chart not necessarily saying it's bad. Yes, we have a reversal, but the money flow is still positive. If I were to zoom in here, money flow is still positive. No great red reversal in play. It's the lower time frames are going to tell us a lot more. And there we did get some sell signals. We got some reversals, but we're back down to getting some bullish indicators at the moment. We had our green reversal. We're not quite overextended with our oscillators yet, and the money flow is still negative. So I spoke too soon. The 4 hours not saying to buy. What about the 1 hour chart? Ooh, T-Shroom, 1 hour chart. Listen, this is not Tim live trading with our VIP trading group. I love what you popped up on screen, by the way. What a random place to pop up on a screen.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. All right, we're having fun.
That's looking bullish there, Tim.
What am I looking at here, everybody? Let's talk through it. Now, there's one thing missing. This is not a buy signal, but it is so very close to being a buy signal on the 1 hour. And a lot of times you look for buy signals on the 1 hour to trickle into the 4 hour, to trickle into the 12 hour, to trickle in to the daily chart. But what am I seeing here? Well, I definitely have my green reversal dot right in here, right? So I love seeing that. What I'm looking at right now, though, what I want to see is this gray line right here. You see the oscillator line. I want to see it keel over. I want to see a green dot, right? So it's bearish right now. I want to see it turn bullish. But what I love seeing is that the money flow is already flowing positive, and you guys see all of this bright pink right there. That's what we call excessive sellers. This is why this Luxago oscillator is so fantastic. It tells us not only is the money flow negative or positive, but also how is it happening? And this is excessive sellers, meaning a lot of people, it's not that they're selling and running for the hills, it's that they're shorting it on purpose. They're applying a lot of bearish pressure. And the best way to explain this, I've said it so many times, but if anyone's new here, imagine when you have a basketball in a pool and you push that basketball under the water. Well, as long as you hold it, it's fine, right? But the minute you release that basketball, the basketball shoots up. Well, a lot of times with these excessive sellers, the same thing will happen. They are selling and they're shorting and they're putting a lot of negative pressure on AVAX on the 1 hour chart, but they are leaving. You can see as I zoom in, they're actually leaving in mass. A lot of times you see this oscillator shoot to the upside. So that's what we're waiting for. We have the green reversal. We have the money flow flowing positively. As soon as we see this oscillator flash a green dot, that is going to be a trigger on a 1 hour chart to take profit. To enter the trade. Excuse me. Where do you take profit? For that, I'm going to save it for our VIP traders. While T-Shroom's speaking, I might even go update the Discord with that right now. If you guys want to be a part of it, check out links down below to join our membership options for that. Look at that, a massive T-Shroom. Are we friends again, T-Shroom? I don't understand what's happening here, but it did hurt my feelings there for about 5 minutes.
Tim, that AVAX TA was so good.
Oh,
that
thank you.
You have earned my friendship back.
There we go. That's what I was hoping for. While I'm going and updating, because I want to update the traders group, go ahead and dive us into the big story. Coinbase. Can it be trusted? Are we boycotting them? Should this make you sell all of your crypto and run for the hills? Or is this a bunch of FUD? T-shirt, why don't you explain the details to everybody and we'll get into it.
Absolutely, Tim. Well, one comment here that really exemplifies this well here is actually a tweet from none other than Justin Sun, the leader over there at Tron. He said this. He said that the CBBTC, which is the wrapped Bitcoin on base that has come out here from Coinbase, lacks the proof of reserve, no audits, and can freeze anyone's balance at any time. Sounds bad, especially it's just trust me. Any U.S. government subpoena would seize all of your Bitcoin. There's no better representation of central bank Bitcoin than this. It's a dark day for Bitcoin. So this is a little bit of a head scratcher, right? This does not bode very well, and this is probably the most damning critique here of the CBBTC. Not a CBDC. Don't get that twisted. It's nothing CBDC about this at all. What this is, though, is a little bit of a kind of a step away from the ethos that Bitcoin really embodies, which is a trustless system that kind of removes the middleman. Coinbase is very much making themselves the middleman here, and it can kind of offer up the opportunity for institutions that may want to manipulate the price of Bitcoin in the worst situations, in the worst case scenario, manipulate the price of Bitcoin to the upside or the downside, and restrict and kind of what would it be? Distort the market, the true demand and supply dynamics of Bitcoin and other crypto assets. So we've seen the criticism. I think it's appropriate to also hear from Brian Armstrong himself, who also provided some insight here. He said, Baldy-Lux here, which I think is kind of funny. Starting off with a little bit of levity in this situation is probably not the worst strategy, but he said this. Not sure what this is all about, to be honest. All ETF mints and burns we process are ultimately settled on-chain. Institutional clients have trade financing and over-the-counter options before trades are settled on-chain. This is the norm for all our institutional clients. All funds are settled in our prime vaults on-chain within about 1 business days. If you want audits, Deloitte audits us annually. We're a public company. I doubt our institutional clients want people dusting all their addresses, and it's not our place to share for them. This is what it looks like if you want a bunch of institutional money flow into Bitcoin. That's a big statement right there, right? Mm-hmm. As for CBBTC, yes, you're trusting a centralized custodian to store the underlying Bitcoin. We've never claimed otherwise. So we heard from Justin Sun. We've heard here from Brian Armstrong. Tim, should we be running for the hills? Is the Bitcoin vision over? Has Satoshi's plan for decentralized currency been spoiled by Brian Armstrong over at Coinbase? Or could there potentially be some cause for some peace for this story to come and pass? What are your thoughts here on this one, Tim?
T-shirt, I told you before the show that the minute I saw this, it reminded me of that meme. For all of the NFL fans out there, you might have seen this even if you haven't. It's from a long time ago, but it's the old coach from the Arizona Cardinals after losing to the Chicago Bears in the playoff. And all he says is, "They were who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook." And I thought of that immediately because this does not surprise me one bit. Coinbase is exactly who we thought they were. Anyone who thinks that this is breaking information, brand new, you just haven't been thinking critically about how Coinbase works. You haven't been listening to them even talk about themselves. At no point has Brian Armstrong and Coinbase come out and said that their top priority is decentralization. Do they offer you access to purchase decentralized cryptocurrencies? Absolutely they do. But they themselves are a for-profit centralized exchange. They want to make money. Now, it helps them when crypto goes up. I don't think that Brian Armstrong and the executive team over at Coinbase are making moves to to screw over their clients and screw over the entire crypto market, but they absolutely want to make money. And I think that line that you highlighted is very important when he says, we're holding and we're a custodian for a lot of large institutions who, in their world, when they're used to traditional finance and the banking systems, you don't have access to everyone's banking information. You don't know how much everybody owns and whatnot. They want to wait till the right time to disclose that. Well, it's the same thing. Coinbase is pretty much saying we're not going to give out our clients information like that and disclose to you how much Bitcoin we're holding for them. They wouldn't appreciate that. And ultimately, that's what we have to do to allow the big boys, the institutions, to play. Now, there's going to be some of you out there, as we talk about this, who are saying, I never wanted institutions in Bitcoin. And that's completely fine. You can say that. Bitcoin's not going to $13 million in the next 30 years without institutions. Bitcoin probably doesn't even make it to $1 million without institutions. I'm not saying that we've dried up all of the retail money, but without institutions getting in and buying Bitcoin, I do think we were getting too close to a peak of how much money retail actually wanted to put into it.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, Coinbase is having to play the game to get the big boys in. And Brian Armstrong is saying, guys, if you want to see the big money flow into Bitcoin, if you want to see institutions get in, this is the kind of stuff we have to do. Now, the thing that's causing a lot of people to freak out, let's talk about Justin Sun for a second, T-Shroom. Justin Sun obviously has a little bit of a bias on this call. Why? Because Brian Armstrong and Coinbase are a competitor to him. Of course he's going to say this is bad. Of course he's going to call out the problems. But I was reading one person's take on it that said, well, if you really dig deep into Justin Sun's little exchange, he doesn't disclose everyone's information either. He's actually kind of the pot calling the kettle black. He runs a centralized exchange as well. This is just how centralized exchanges work. And my ultimate thought here, I see some people saying in chat, is 100% this is a nothing burger. This is FUD, which actually is so encouraging to me. And let me explain to you why. A lot of times, I think I'm going to make a video about this tomorrow, about what these traps look like. But a lot of times, right before major events that cause major bullish action, you have terrible sounding news that has come out. First of all, it's no secret, not only this channel, but a lot of channels recently have been talking about how 25 basis point cut is good, 50 basis point cut is bad. Well, all of a sudden, on Saturday, everything shifted and everyone's now predicting a 50 basis point cut, even though we've never heard a single member from the Fed actually come out and say this. That's the first level of, man, we're creating some FUD to really scare people that we're about to have a major crash. And now going after, I think Binance technically is still the largest exchange, but Coinbase is right there, number 2. It is a key figure in the crypto space. It is what a lot of people, especially when they're new, use to get into cryptocurrency. It's going to be number 1 with all of this institutional adoption that's happening in it. But what's another good way to FUD the market and scare the crap out of people? Let them think the largest or most important exchange in the game has a major problem and they're about to go down or people are about to lose faith in them. If I'm a manipulator, if I want to buy a dip that I don't want anyone else to buy and I want them to sell their Bitcoin to me, this is the exact type of story that I need to accomplish that. This to me is not only nothing burger, it is massive FUD that leads me to believe a bear trap is in play. They want you to short. They want you to sell. They want you out of the market so that then they can flip it on you and move markets back to the upside, all the while you not only lose out on your positions, you possibly lose money in your trades as well. That's what I'm watching. The last thing I'll say here, T-Shroom, let's make sure I'm on both sides of this. I'm saying all this is positive, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, Coinbase is what we thought they were. Let's explain what they are. They are a great on-off ramp that is a centralized exchange. You should not, if you've been in crypto for 10 days or 2 months, all right, you know what? Maybe it's not quite time. You're still learning the game. Coinbase is safe. Do not freak out. They're not going to steal your money. They're not going to do all this stuff. That's all a bunch of fear-mongering. But if you've been in crypto for a while, it's time to put your big boy pants on. And what do I mean by put your big boy pants on? When it's not your keys, it's not your crypto. Go get yourself a private cold wallet where you will never have to worry about anybody stealing your cryptocurrency. Buy it on Coinbase. Be my guest. but then move it into a cold wallet. We have a link. I don't know if it's still in the description, but we'll put it in the description afterwards and make sure you guys have access to it. Go get Arculus. Arculus is a great option for a cold wallet solution. And this is a perfect example of why you should go there. I'm not telling you to run away from Coinbase. I'm not saying freak out because this news is not negative. But it is a good time to stop and remember, hey guys, Coinbase is not a decentralized exchange. Coinbase is not your biggest friend, your best ally. I'm not saying they hate you, but they are about themselves. They're a centralized organization who wants to make money. Don't treat them like they care about your cryptocurrency. They're not going to steal it, but they don't care if you make or lose money. They only care if they make or lose money. Move your money off of a centralized exchange and put it into a cold wallet like Arculus, because that is the only way to know 100% no one is going to steal your Bitcoin or your cryptocurrency.
Yep.
It's time to be a big boy. Go do it.
That's right. Be a big boy. Put your pants on. I don't see a lot of dissent in the chat here. Look, the biggest loser here is there's a little bit of a potential for price manipulation to the downside, right? Over the counter, the more over the counter volume, the less Bitcoin will go up. Also the less that it'll go down, right? So there's a bit of a wash there. So overall, when Bitcoin is ready to go higher, it will, and that's about it, right? Yeah. I can still put my Bitcoin on a cold wallet. I can still keep my keys from having to be known by the government or anybody else other than me, right? Bitcoin hasn't been hacked. Bitcoin is still decentralized itself, the actual protocol, right? Nothing has really changed about Bitcoin. It's just over-the-counter exchanges are going to be the higher liquidity. There's more volume of over-the-counter exchanges and harder to track institutional custody of Bitcoin, right? Is that such a bad thing? I mean, maybe to some people that is a bad thing. I don't see that as definitely not a reason to sell, and not really too big of a reason for concern. All right, and honestly, it's kind of bullish, because if there was institutions that are on the sidelines sitting there being like, hey, I would love to buy Bitcoin, but I don't want anybody else knowing about it, then that's good, because they're going to probably buy Bitcoin now. Speaking of which, there has been a revelation of a country that has been stacking sats. Let's go ahead and get into that. This one's actually really, really interesting here. That is this country here. If you've never seen it or heard of it, you will be forgiven, because it's not a very popular country. But is this Bhutan? Bhutan. Let us know. Are you from this area? Are you Nepalese potentially, or from Bangladesh or India? This northeastern area of India. Let us know in the chat. Are you familiar with Bhutan? This is the headline here. Breaking. Bhutan government's $750 million worth of Bitcoin, Tim, now on Arkham, so you can track it if you'd like. Yeah. Bhutan's Bitcoin holdings are now labeled on Arkham. These holdings come from Bitcoin mining operations carried out by the Kingdom of Bhutan's investment arm, Druk Holdings. Very sophisticated operations here from a nation state, okay? Giving me El Salvador vibes. Arkham is the first to publicly identify these addresses. So, if you're one of these, on-chain sleuths, this is going to be a huge revelation for you. If you don't know what we're talking about, basically, because, contrary to the former story that we just covered, with Bitcoin, it's different from holding cash. Everybody can know if your wallet is known, everybody can know how much you have, right? Now, if nobody has associated you with your wallet, then it's just a wallet that's floating out there, and nobody really cares, right? So nobody's been hacked here. The country of Bhutan has not been hacked. The worst that can happen is people can now send Bitcoin to Bhutan, right? Which is a net positive for Bhutan. So overall here, not a huge bad thing at all. This is very, very bullish for a nation state to have something close to $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Now, Tim, what are your thoughts here? This isn't Mr. 100. Mr. 100, I believe, is still unknown. But what are your thoughts here on the country Bhutan holding this much Bitcoin? Is this a problem? Is this bullish? What are you thinking here?
It's bullish. I mean, another government entity owning Bitcoin, I'm never going to complain about it. I'm never once going to complain about it. I'll tell you this. If you guys feel silly not knowing where Bhutan was, I told T-Shirt before the live was over, if he had made that, or if the Factoid elf had made that, the Factoid of the day, and asked me, is this a country? I would not have been confident in saying yes. I'd heard of Bhutan, I didn't know if it was a city. I didn't know if it was in South America or Asia or Africa. I think by its name, maybe deductive reasoning would have said Asia, but didn't know what this was. But for them to have, I mean, $750 million of Bitcoin, that is not a small amount of Bitcoin. That's gonna be putting them in a top spot when it comes to governments and how much Bitcoin owned. And to know it's such a small country, you can't help but be excited for them, because that, I think all of us who are in the crypto world understand they are making some major moves to put themselves in a good spot for the future of how this world works economically. Now, they're right there by China and India, like how, can you really ever become a superpower when you've got those two brothers right next to you, and anytime things go well for you, maybe they say, hey, let's take a little bit of that. I don't know. But this is bullish. It's bullish to hear another, I'm assuming a sovereign nation, a sovereign government is
big time.
Is going big on Bitcoin. Love it.
Yep. And they're a monarchy too. They're a semi-constitutional monarchy. That would be a government that I would love to rule. Semi-constitutional monarchy. Doesn't that sound good, Tim? That sounds like a...
Sure. Sounds weird to me. I mean, is it like, like the monarchy of England? I don't understand. It's pretty much the mascots of the country. I don't know. Like,
right.
They don't have any position of power.
Okay, let's go ahead and pivot here because this story is losing steam, but great for Bhutan. Gotta love it. Let us know. I didn't see anybody in the chat that was from that area, but I did know a Nepalese guy one time. Very nice, very good people. So cool. All right, let's move on here. The Polymarket predictor for the Fed interest rate in September. If you didn't watch our morning show, this is actually pretty big news. It is now more likely that we'll get 50 basis point cut from the Fed on the 18th. Yes, you heard that right. It is now more likely, according to the betting markets, that we would get a 50 basis point hike. Now, Tim and I both agree that this is some cap, that this is exaggeration. The betting markets is getting it wrong here.
It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that they're getting it right. And when you throw in the fact that no Fed member has said anything, it just smells so fishy to me. It smells so fishy as if it's manipulative.
It smells fishy. We also covered this morning that JP Morgan, you go back and watch that morning video. It's a really good one, actually. And we covered that JP Morgan has actually been calling for a 50 basis point hike. And if you know anything about JP Morgan, right, the fact that they're saying that gives me more confidence that 25 basis points is actually what we'll end up getting on the 18th. But it doesn't stop there, Tim. Of course it doesn't stop there. There's some folks in Washington that just can't let it go. U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren calls for not a 50, but a 75 basis point rate cut by the Fed this week. So she along with other senators have signed goodness gracious, have signed a letter and sent it to the Fed asking and requesting for the 75 basis point rate cut. Tim, to my knowledge, I don't think that there have been any 75 basis point rate cuts, at least since the 1990s. This would be unprecedented. So Elizabeth
it's also
Warren,
just called stupid. Stupidity is another word for it we could use.
Yeah. Robert Young saying good old Pocahontas. That's right. Pocahontas, I think, is kind of showing her cards as being, I wouldn't go as far as to say a tool, but, basically a tool of Wall Street yet again, because a 75 basis point cut, it would be probably pretty bearish at first, but that would be extremely bullish. That would be just free money for Wall Street. The stocks would skyrocket. So
I want to make sure, I was thinking about this morning after our live show was over. I guess it's something we should add to our live show. We've kind of said, T-Shirt, you and me, that if there's a 50 basis point cut, we're probably going to see a crash in the market. We're not talking about a crash to like 20,000. We're not talking about a crash to brand new low. We're talking about a very quick fall in price action. The stock market will fall, Bitcoin will fall. I'm thinking 46K, right? That's my, if we have 50 basis point, I'm kind of thinking 46K gets hit. And then we start a bull market, right? So we're bullish no matter what. These extreme rate cuts would still be long-term bullish. They would be short-term bearish, though. So maybe you want them. I don't know. And then you get an opportunity to buy lower. The point, though, is that Elizabeth Warren, Auntie Beth, as I call her, because we share the same last name, she doesn't understand economics. It's been very, very clear.
Oh, she understands.
She doesn't. She was one of the ones that was trying to explain inflation as being she was blaming inflation on companies, on how people price their goods and services. A clear misunderstanding of what actually brings inflation and what hurts the dollar.
Here's what I mean by that. She understands it. Just because she understands inflation and economics very well doesn't mean that what she says is reflective of her understanding. And that's why I'm saying I think she's a tool of Wall Street, right? She's just saying she's writing a letter showing support for the Fed to do 75 basis points. Now, one thing that you learn with like training dogs or raising children is that if you want them to do something, right? Let's use the speed limit example, right? The Department of Transportation knows that if you put a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, people are going to go 60 miles an hour, right? So if you want them to actually go 50 miles an hour, you put the speed limit at 40 miles an hour. The same thing is happening here. Elizabeth Warren and her Wall Street goons really want a 50 basis point hike. So of course they're asking for 75. I think that makes the most rational sense here. And again, it's just crazy. She's been one of the biggest anti-crypto figures in the United States, even more than Gary Gensler, I would say. And now she's coming out and asking for 75 basis points. She doesn't care about the labor market. She wants Wall Street's bags to get bigger so that she can have enough money to run against this man who is giving her a run for her money up in Massachusetts Senate race.
100%. That's exactly where I was going with it, where our minds are aligned on this. I think she's not liking what's going on right now. I think she understands that she chose the wrong side of the crypto argument. That is hurting her. Her now, I'm about to say nemesis, but her enemy in the campaign trail, her opposite, is not just a crypto guy. He's a big crypto guy. He is going to institute that a lot. I think that she sees the writing on the wall. Her constituents are looking at her and saying, you've been in office for how long? And the economy is not getting any better. And things are getting worse. It's time for a change. Yeah. So to her, I think she genuinely thinks that 75 basis point and get it easier for her businesses and her constituents to borrow money, yada, 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 and they'll reelect her. I don't think that's quite how it works. Again, I think if we went 75 basis points or 50, like we talked about, I think things get a little uglier before they get better. Will they get better in time for the people of Massachusetts to decide that they like her or not? I don't think so. I mean, I honestly am not paying attention to that race as much. I really am hoping and praying that she loses and that Deaton gets in there. I think that would be amazing for the people of Massachusetts, but also amazing for the people of the United States because he would be a senator that would not just be representing Massachusetts, be representing the lot of us. So ultimately, Elizabeth Warren, you can say she knows what she's doing. I don't think. I don't think that she actually knows as much as she lets on. I think a lot of politicians, both on the left and the right, I'm not picking on one side of the political party whatsoever. There's a lot of people just like Elizabeth Warren who I believe are more of puppets than they are genuine thought creators. They are just repeating the words of what somebody else is telling them to say. And I think you're right. In this case, she has some donors or people she wants to be donors who are saying, hey, why don't you get that interest rate lowered and maybe we'll throw you a bone or two.
Hey, old Pocahontas, we're having fun.
Well, let's not get into it.
And that was too far. And I apologize.
That's where we draw the line. That's it. Now we know the line is there. We don't cross that line. All right, let's keep going.
We're having fun. Okay. Yeah, let's keep it moving here, Tim. We have a factoid of the day to get to, and this is going to be a fun one today, Tim, because it's brought to you all by the tax pros over at decrypted.tax. If you're looking for an excellent tax solution for your crypto investments, look no further than the link in the description for decrypted.tax. Tim, which mountain range dominates Bhutan's geography? Is it the Andes, the Rockies, the Alps, or, Tim, is it the Himalayas? Let us know in the chat. What is your guess here as Tim attempts to not make a fool of himself? What do we got?
Well, it's not. Oh, crap. Where are the Andes? It's not the Rockies. The Rockies are obviously in the good old United States of America. Alps would be Switzerland, so it's not B or C. Where is the Andes? My brain is saying D, the Himalayas, because I know that's in Asia, but I just don't know where the Andes is. A lot of people in chat saying D. I'm pretty sure it's safe to go ahead and go with D. Is Nathan saying D? That's really what matters here. Nathan, are you in here? Are you saying D?
I haven't seen Nathan.
Oh,
today.
he says he's not 100%, but he thinks D.
Oh,
Okay, the Andes are in South America, says
wow.
Yodel Gilbert. All right, we're gonna go with D, Himalayas. I think we got this one in the bag. There we go.
How does it feel, Tim?
I mean, you know what we forgot to do on Saturday? Because we had such a great discussion on Saturday, we didn't do a factoid of the day, so therefore we didn't get the extra 3 factoids in. Should this just count as the 6th from last week and we do a giveaway for today? I think it should. Let us know in chat. Should this count as a last week poll? In which case, if it's true, we went 6 for 6. We already gave one of our giveaways to Nathan, but there's a second one that's deserved. Do you guys think we should do that, or should we start the week fresh? Amy says yes. I think we should. I think that should count, and I think we should choose one lucky winner, T-Shroom.
A lucky winner, you say?
Give $50. And by the way, we had like 700 people in here saying, I think in YouTube it just dropped to 666. Some people don't like the factoid of the day, and I just don't understand why. It's the best part of the show. But there's still 666 of you. Smash the like. We will give. I'll tell you this. This will be the deciding factor. If we hit 350 likes, I'm not even asking for 400, which I really could. 350 likes, and we will do a $50 giveaway at the end of the show. But you do have to hit 350. That's the rules. And we'll do the giveaway at the end of the show. We'll choose one of you guys watching here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Otherwise, you're not going to get picked to win $50. T-Shroom, anything else we have, or is it time for good old Q&A time?
Well, I'll just say, our old buddy Caleb Franzen, he would say, don't look at the CME futures, don't look at Polymarket. Although I don't know what his views on Polymarket are. He would say, look at the 6-month bonds, and this is a little bit advanced for those of you who may not be familiar with the bond market. It's okay. It's confusing to me too. But as you can see, the white is the effective federal funds rate, still up at 5.3. Right? They haven't cut yet. They're likely to cut. But the 6-month is pricing in 4.6 right now. Okay, so that's the percentage change that the bond market is predicting will be in 6 months. That's quite drastic there. Almost what is that? A little less than a full percentage. This isn't a prediction market. This is the bond market. This is money, big money that has already moved out of the 6-month bond. So very, very. It's happening, right? There's at least going to be a cut. And we kind of already knew that. That shouldn't be a revelation. But all right, Tim. Now, what did you say? Did you say something that we should do now, or because I think I might have had that already queued up?
So you're admitting that you were not listening to me. You never listen to me, is what you're really saying.
I was mesmerized by the 6-month bonds. I apologize.
No, that's a good data point. It's time for Q&A. I asked if we had any other stories, but I think the answer is no. Let's get into some Q&A. Now, Matt C says, at Investing Bros, I don't know if he's saying this is his request or if he's just being a good Samaritan and asking for somebody else. He said, got a request for Caspa TA. You know what, Matt? We'll do some Caspa TA. How about that? Let's do some Caspa TA. Let's go take a look.
While you're pulling that up, I do have no more stories, but I do have one announcement. This is, and it's it might be sad for those of you who really enjoy our Monday night X Spaces. That is this. Trump's X Space to introduce his project is tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're not going to do an X Space, okay? Just because everybody's going to be over there. I'm probably going to be over there listening to Trump. Trying to articulate his thoughts on decentralized finance. I think it's going to be interesting. I hope I'm surprised, and I hope that he has a good grasp of it. We'll assume that folks are not going to be tuning into the bros, but we will be picking it up next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Join us in the X Spaces. Somebody asked if we have a X. Yes, we have an X account for the Investing Bros. We all have an X. I have an X. Tim has an X. Santa Claus has an X as well. You can find it down in the description of this very video. All right, Tim, let's get into you see any good Q&As? Let's go to your channel.
Well, yeah,
let's go to your chart for.
I don't know if you were listening because we found out you don't listen that often, but we were going to do Caspa TA was one of the requests from Matt. Real quickly on the same note, though, we will be having 7 p.m. Q&A for our VIP trader group That's Pro Bros, Technicals, and our Lux Algo members. You guys, we're starting to go live at 7 p.m. for that. Let's take a look at Caspa here. Now, we talked about other coins earlier that fell short of their breakouts and did not hit their take profits. Well, if you were trading Caspa, you were fine. We got the buy signal back here on September 8th. What am I talking about? Green reversal, green momentum, positive money flow, thus the trifecta right there. That's our buy signal. And I told you guys more often than not, in fact, 90% of the time when this happens, you will at least rally up into the smart trail. Sometimes you go past it. Look at where we rejected. See that red cloud right there? That is what we call the smart trail. We did not hit the take profit from Luxalgo, which we were very close, so I thought it was maybe a possibility. But we absolutely did get into and hit our smart trail. It's now bringing back to the downside. We're not getting a sell signal. We are seeing weakness on the MACD and the RSI. We are seeing bearish momentum and a red reversal on the Luxalgo oscillator, but the money flow is still positive. So I'm not necessarily saying we are freaking out and going to the downside, but 4-hour chart, let's see what it is saying here. And then what we'll do is we'll look up CoinGlass, because CoinGlass should give us the Caspa liquidations. We have a sell order down here that brought us. Let me look at this real quickly, though, because we had a sell order here, but the guarantee is that it's coming to the smart trail. Some people are going to say, oh, we should come down to our take profit. The problem is when you get a sell order above this blue smart trail, or if you get a buy order below the red smart trail, I'm not saying it can't go to the take profit on Luxalgo. I'm kind of getting into some Luxalgo education here. But the main thing you should be watching is the smart trail. So a lot of people thinking we have to go lower. I'm not necessarily convinced we have to. We could. We absolutely could. But these sell orders kind of got sufficed when the smart trail was hit on the 4-hour chart from both the oscillator itself, red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. We hit that smart trail, and now if we were to go to lower time frames, we're starting to find some support here on this 1-hour chart. Are we getting a buy signal just yet? I don't know about a buy signal. We are getting bullish divergence. We are seeing the green reversal, bullish momentum. That money flow is just kind of sideways, not positive yet, but I think not that far away. Caspa, another one that I'm going to let the trading group know about. We're looking for a buy signal there on the 1-hour chart. That would at least send us back up here to 1714. But on the longer time frames, again, even though we rejected here, we're not seeing bearishness come in. So this is going to stay in that category of saying, are we in a little phase where we set a higher high than back here on August 24th? Is this just a correction, setting a higher low, and then the bull market continues when we get fantastic news here in a couple of days? I'm not sure. We're not 100% certain that we will hit that fantastic news, but there's a lot of signs, in my opinion, that good news is coming. Caspa would be a big benefactor of that one. For that, I'm looking more out at the weekly chart and saying, ooh, keep an eye on back up above 20 cents, possibly as high as 24 cents on that weekly chart. That we got a buy signal, boom. A lot of room to the upside still on Caspa if the bulls come back in. There's your Caspa. Well, I'll say last thing. If we had bad news on Caspa, back 10 cents, a little bit below 10 cents, 9 cents. Watch that weekly smart trail. That blue cloud on the weekly chart should be the target for a bad news bears. Got the B's. Bad news bears if we get 50 basis points and the markets don't like it. 10 cent, 9 cent Caspa coming your way.
Bad news bears, Battlestar Galactica. Let us know in the chat, what famous American television show is that from?
I don't even know if I know the answer. It just sounded good. WL Sharp says, I appreciate you, Tim. Well, it's good to know somebody does. Because T-Shroom, this episode, doesn't seem to appreciate me that much.
I think the quote was Bulls, Bears, Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica. That I do know. That is from The Office.
Oh,
Bad
come on,
News
Tim.
Bears is not from The Office. That's just something I made up on the spot.
Right. Right.
Someone said Friends. Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, we still got 630 people watching. We'll take this moment.
Only 300 likes, though, so we're not doing a giveaway at this point. But we have time, though. We have like 7 minutes here till the end of the show. We'll get some more question and answers in here. Seeing a lot of people. I love it. I love the Office references. I love the quotes. Love it. But for Q&A time, the best thing to do is to ask some questions. Green Thanos says 25 or 50. The data is saying 50, Green Thanos. Tim's saying 25. T-Shirt, what are you saying?
Yeah, I think you can't always manipulate the markets, but you can manipulate the markets for some period of time. And I think today the betting markets are are getting manipulated, and at the same time that we're seeing the usual suspects come out and be vocal about extra big, extra chonky, extra thick rate cuts. So I think either way, to me, it's going to be bullish, right? Because it's increasing, money supply. It is making money cheaper. But, as we've discussed previously, the market doesn't want to be spooked by something higher than a 25 basis point hike. But at this point, you guys got to remember too. I mean, we talk about that. I do still stand by it. I think it's true in general, in theory. However, don't put it past CNBC and Bloomberg and the Wall Street to spin it however they want to keep asset prices high.
No question, T-shirt. I think I've been saying something wrong, and I'm fact checking myself at the moment. We live in a world where fact checking is very important, especially for debates. You said something earlier that made me think that I've been saying something wrong, and I want to make sure I'm not saying something wrong, and I want to move forward saying things that are right. Because I'm not a pathological liar, according to some people think I am. It looks like a poll earlier said that I was. Speaking of polls, Kruk, can you put a poll in chat for who our audience, if we think 25 or 50? I want to see how the audience is feeling. I've been saying that historically when we get 25 basis point cuts, that's been a lot more, and no recession fears. That's been a very bullish scenario, right? Mm-hmm. But I believe you said something earlier in 2020. I'm assuming post-COVID or pre-COVID, we got a 50 basis point cut. Obviously, that was bullish. Everything went to the upside after the COVID crash. Can you look that up? What date did we get that 50 basis point cut? And then were we cutting before that? Was that a pivot? Because there's I've said it before. I could be extremely wrong, and we could see a 50 basis point cut and a rally in the markets. I think there'd be an initial sell-off, a little bit of concern, but if that's true, then that would kind of go in the direction of saying, hey, guys, 50 basis points. You could still have 50 basis points and a perceived soft landing and bullish price action. But tell us the date of that.
So this is the federal funds rate. Now, what day did you think it was? What date?
Just tell me when did they raise it by 50?
I think they raised it by 50 somewhere in here, but it's kind of hard to tell based on
Okay, so
this.
it wasn't a pivot. It wasn't a pivot that happened.
Yeah, this is not a good way to answer that question. This is
not a good way to answer that question. So none of those that you saw right in there, you couldn't make it like monthly. Okay. All right. Well, we'll never know if I was right or not. So the thing is, because this is what I almost perceive as being the best scenario of it all. 25 basis points September. Some people are saying, "Oh, we only have 3 left for the rest of the year, and we got to get them going." Well, start with 25. Do 25, and then in November, I know we skip October, but in November, then make the decision about 50. But I still feel like after cutting for so long, and now we've been stale and sideways for so long, a 50 basis point cut will just communicate fear to the markets that we're actually afraid of a recession. The last one was March 3rd. No, that's a cut. That's a cut of 50.
Yeah. Oh, you were looking for hikes? Here, there is
one.
No,
I was. You're right. No, you're right. Go back. We cut by 100 when? March 16th. Let's take a look at that real quick.
That's insane. Really?
Let's take a look at Marches. At Marches of 2020. If you don't mind going to my screen here, T-Shroom. The crash happened. The biggest part of the crash happened on March 11th. So they were cut. Okay. Well, in that case, never mind, guys. I reserve the right to say I was right all along. I fact-checked myself, and turns out that fact check was false. 50 basis point cut came before this major crash, right? And then they did 100 after, here on the 16th or whatever, an emergency one in the recovery factor. But the point still stands. They cut 50 here on the 3rd, right? Yeah. Oh, so a little bit of a rally over the next couple of days, but then a big crash, right? It couldn't hold off the economic crash here. So that goes there is still the case. These 50 basis point cuts when we're pivoting to try to ease usually come based off of fear, not off of confidence. I'm not saying it's impossible still. Again, I'm not gonna go back on that. It's possible at 50 basis points and still be bullish. It's just not something we've ever seen in the history of rate cuts where they cut by 50 points and they're confident about the economy.
Yes, this has been a productive conversation, Tim. Now, not so productive is this next comment here from Nathan. Said, smash the like button. That's good. So we can get Tim a new headset. Tim, you have something you haven't announced to the bros.
Yeah, I have a new headset. Look, it.
That is, what is that supposed to convey? He was shaking.
Well,
like
the
that.
other one, which is over there, it when I lifted this,
right.
cushion part would fall off. Now, I will say one thing about these, I didn't realize when I got them, was that they are a little bit noise canceling. And I yell in general, but I think I yell. My voice is muffled to me, right? So I hear you pretty clearly. Mm-hmm. I don't hear myself through the system. So I'm a little muffled. So I probably talk louder than I really need to, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Poll is saying, let's look at the poll here. Did we get to guys? We didn't get to. All we asked for was 350 likes, and we only got to 328. You guys don't want $50, is what it really boils down to. All right, our audience, I don't know how much we impacted them, T-Shroom. Our audience is saying over 70%, 25 basis points. So either we have an extremely smart audience or they're sheep, and they just did exactly what we said. I'm hoping it's the first one. No, Nathan, no reason to apologize. You didn't know, and we didn't tell you. Because the other thing was the other pair wasn't necessarily bad. No one knew except for the fact that we told you guys. But I do have a new one. I have a new pair of headphones. It's very, very nice. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it out. Listen, it's 4 o'clock. You guys made a little stretch there to 346, but, I'm a generous guy. T-Shroom's a generous guy, but rules are rules. And the rule was 350 by 4 o'clock. We didn't get there. That's okay. There could still be a giveaway this week. This still goes down as 1 out of 1 for this week for a giveaway this week. But you got to smash likes, everybody. That's the big takeaway of the day is
that's right.
You got to smash the like.
I love this. Joseph Cupador is practicing great sales technique. He said, I work for a tech company that sell those headphones. I can get you guys good pricing. We are not interested. However, keep up that hustle. Keep up that riz because that's going to close you some sales.
Drop a link. Maybe someone in chat needs a good headset, Make some sales. Here's a good lawyer response. We're kind of going long here, but we're going to get out of here in a second. Cody says 3 p.m. my time, still got an hour. That's clever.
That's good.
We're going to stick with the 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
A little time zone humor.
And we're at 361. Listen, I love you guys. I love you, but we didn't make it that hard. I should have said 400. Right? I should have said 400. I went easy. I said 350.
You got to take your cues from the professional politicians from Elizabeth Warren. She's asking for 75 because she wants 50.
I'm sorry, guys. I really do apologize. There's going to be a lot of people upset with us. And I understand why you're upset with us. But, we live in a YouTube channel of law and order and rule of law. And the rule of law said that it had to be 350 by 4 o'clock. That's just is what it is. But that being said, we're going to wrap it up here. I see some other people asking about some other coins. We might have time tomorrow, but I'll tell you what, if you want to get access to myself, to T-Shroom, to Crux of crypto all the time, first of all, just join our free Discord. You can chat with us. We're in there a good amount. But the best way to get a hold of us and to get all of your questions and more answered about what the best projects are, what's bullish, what's bearish, advice on your portfolios, join the memberships. There's links for that down below. Prices are increasing October 1st. So you want to get signed up today.
Oh, God, please, no!
Oh, Michael Scott. What a way to end the show. Love you guys. See you tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got members Q&A. The rest of you will see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Adios.
Trying to make paper. Turn that better to cake. Money like Lego. Connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper. Turn that better to cake. Money like Lego. connect your dots stack bank. We are investing pros. We are investing bros.